Hey, and welcome back to my podcast, Marisa. Today we are going over the rest of my first journal ever. I did finish reading this journal in my first journals episode, but I wanted to go over the pages that fell out. Whoa, can't show you that. That's confidential information. There's some good stuff in here. I started reading it and I realized that I wanted to read it on camera for the podcast because there's some good stuff. You'll see. The people in these stories, they're long gone from my life, and I doubt that they'll ever even see this, but just for the sake of the people that know me in real life, I'm just gonna have to change the names. Um, so these journal entries are from 2011. Let me go back in my first journal and see when the last journal entry was written. I'm pretty sure it was 2010. Yeah, so the last ever journal entry was August 2010. Um, from my first ever journal. So then I left the rest of the journal blank and I wrote in a different book, but I ripped those pages out. There's a lot of pages. I ripped these pages out and I stuck them in the back of this journal so that it would kind of continue the story, even though it's about a year after my last entry from my first journal. But this starts in July of 2011. It says, "Today I got my 14-year-old pictures taken. I was texting my friend this morning and she had almost gotten over her ex, who I liked or maybe still do, but I found out that he likes my sister Brienne." And the people in my family will know who this is about. I don't know if anybody else will know. I hope they don't. It's kind of embarrassing. But I discovered that he liked my sister Brienne after dating my friend, and I almost cried. The next day, I wrote, "He still likes Brienne. I'm so tired of her drama. Should I like him or not?" Dang, I was journaling every single day. The next day, July 16th, 2011, "I really didn't do anything special today. I decided to do my hair parted on the left instead of the right." Okay. By the 18th, which was 4 days after the first entry in these pages, I was texting this boy and I kept asking him questions about if he was using me or not. He is over Brienne now, thank goodness. He told me that I'm probably his only church friend, but I don't believe that. I wish he would like me. His eyes are so big and dreamy. July 19th. I texted him all day. He says he likes me. Oh my gosh. How do I respond? I get to see him tomorrow at church activities. I like him a lot. On the next day, the 20th of July, I went to the activities, but seeing him wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I'll text him tomorrow about it. He and I aren't turning out like I wanted us to, and I'm so tired. Let's just remember in 2011, I was 14. And in my church, the standards at this time were that you don't date until you're 16 years old. And if you're younger than that, you shouldn't even be like considering dating somebody because you're just too young. So that was just the standard that was held at that time. I don't even know if that's still the standard, but it was very strict, or at least it was in my family in 2011. He found a constellation and named it after me. We planned our future first date. We'd find someplace nice and clear, and we'd lay down and hold hands and watch the stars. This boy was a year older than me, so he was 15, I was 14. We weren't supposed to be talking. This was very taboo. And it was worse because he liked my sister, and I think they even dated, like, I think they dated for, I know they kissed. I don't know. I can't remember if they dated, but I feel like they did. So based off of that, I shouldn't have liked this boy in the first place, but I always claimed that I liked him first before she did. Anyway, I did journal about him every single day, and somehow I feel like what I wrote wasn't actually true. I feel like I wrote him to be more infatuated with me than he was because I was completely like mindless over this boy. I'm discovering now for the first time in my life that this boy was very manipulative. And I think I knew that, but I wrote about it without really understanding what was happening. Um I didn't dance with him at a dance because I don't know why. I was probably insecure or feeling shy. I was super shy as a kid. I didn't dance with him, so he didn't talk to me for a week. Like, he intentionally ignored me for a week. I wrote, "I kind of needed a break from him anyways." That's not true. I was like obsessed with this kid. By the end of July, July 31st, 2011, today I declared us just friends. Somehow I don't believe that. Yeah, 2 days later. I'm lonely without him. I miss him. I'm gonna ask if he still likes me, if he could be friends with benefits. At this point, okay, I was 14. That just meant that I wanted to kiss him sometimes and hold hands. I had never kissed anybody yet, and I don't think I ever held anybody's hand, like a boy's hand either. So, I was only 14. I didn't know what with benefits really meant. I just meant that I wanted to, like, hold his hand and flirt with him and like kiss him or something. I don't know. At this point, I still hadn't even had my first kiss, so who knows? August 4th, 2011. How could I be so stupid? I poured my heart out to him. Then we supposedly liked each other. I never was completely convinced that he really liked me. And then when I was wondering why and what he sees in me. Bran said he already moved on to one of the other girls. She told me that he isn't the right guy for me, and I so wanted her to be wrong. I should have known that no guy has ever and will ever like me. So, the abandonment issues have entered the chat. Oh man. I'm so devastated that I'm surprised I still have a pulse. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. 2 days later, I'm just getting ready for girls' camp. Turns out that he does still like me. Girl, when is this gonna be over? Like, when does it end? I thought he was messing with my head, but he wasn't. I'm happy and I'm really tired. A couple days later, an entry from camp. I hate camping. This is fun. August 21st, 2011. I haven't written in a while, but my sister Tiara got married on Friday. I can't believe I forgot to write in my journal that day. I cried last night at the reception, so did dad, and then I cried at home. I miss her. I remember crying at her reception. It was like the first of my siblings to be married, and I've cried at pretty much every wedding ever since. Um, I don't know why, but weddings just make me emotional. I know for sure in this instance, it was because my dad always sings a song um, at the wedding for like his kid. In this case, my sister Tiara. I'm pretty sure he sang "My Little Girl," or I don't remember what it's called, but it's something along those lines, and it's, like, heartbreaking. It's an old country song, and still to this day, every time I hear it, I either cry or I get tears in my eyes. Like, it's so cute and it's so sad with that context of, like, my sister was leaving our family, she was going off to start her own family, and it was just hard as a kid. I was, I guess, 14. But, yeah, I remember this day that I was crying at her wedding reception. Oh my gosh, I was so dramatic. I wrote that he was too busy to talk to me. He clearly doesn't understand me. And then the next day I wrote, I've decided that I will ask him to dance with me at the next youth dance. It took a lot of thinking and reconsidering, but that is my final decision about it. Oh, I was entering high school. This was the summer before my freshman year. I wrote, I'm so scared to go to high school. I guess I didn't really put that together that when I was 14 years old, I had graduated from 8th grade and was moving into ninth grade, which was high school in my area. August 29th, 2011, my first day of high school. It's weird thinking of myself as a freshman. I have to go to class tomorrow, so good night. I'm so tired. I need my sleep. Stupid early high school. I guess I've always been somebody that likes to go to bed early because, like, every single entry says I have to go to bed. I'm so tired. This one on 9/11, we watched Battle Los Angeles. I said, "It was okay, but I wish we could have started it sooner so we could have gone to bed early." I have my first day of seminary tomorrow. Seminary is, if you don't know, it's an early morning like Bible study or scripture study class that kids in the LDS Church or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints attend. Okay, hold on. Because in Utah, I'm pretty sure it's an actual class, like, within their school day, but pretty much everywhere else in the country, I'm pretty sure it's either a morning class, like an early morning before school class, like it was for me, or maybe it's offered, like, at night sometimes. But when I was a kid in high school, it was early morning seminary before school, and then you go to school at, like, 7 a.m. Apparently, in September of 2011, I read To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's cited here that it was the most boring book I've ever read. High school changed me. Less than a month into high school, on September 22nd, 2011, I wrote, High school has changed me. I lost all my friends except for Grace. I love Grace so much. I do love Grace. We don't talk anymore, but she was a good friend. About a week later, on the 28th of September, I said, "Today I decided I'm going to be happier and funnier and more active at church activities. Everyone will like me." On October 20th, 2011, I wrote, "At the moment, I'm really busy. I have to read a book and finish it by the 28th of October. Then I have to complete a book report on it due the same day. I just finished my health project and I'm now planning a dance for the youth of our church. Yay, busy, busy, busy. Ugh, Lord, please help me." I never said I would never say Lord like that ever. I still wouldn't, but apparently I would write it. I did have a few memories that came up while I was preparing for this episode, but they're like from before these journal segments. It was from like when I was 8 years old. So when I was eight, I still lived in Nevada in like the Las Vegas, Henderson area. And when you're 8 years old in my church, you get baptized. And I went and I got baptized when I was eight. That's actually why I got this journal because it was like a guest book for my baptism, and I think I showed this last episode, but it was like all the entries from other people and names and signatures from everybody that showed up to my baptism. What I remember about this day, not only I got my first journal ever, but also after my baptism and like being cleansed of all my sins and everything, we went to a casino resort for a celebratory dinner. And I just remember so vividly, like seeing all of the people, they were all gambling, there were people smoking. I remember the smell of the cigarettes in the casino. And I just remember it being so funny that like I just, as an 8-year-old little girl, like pledged my life to God and went to a casino directly after to have some food. um, but I remember that. I'll never forget it. But there was that, and then there was another few memories. I used to be a dancer, so I had talked about this with a few friends recently. I used to do tap and ballet dancing, and it was a little studio when I lived in Nevada, and I had pictures I just posted. Yeah, I remember tap dancing to "Dancing in the Moonlight," and also there's a song called "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head." And those two songs, like every time I hear them, I'm just like transported back into my little 8-year-old dance studio and seeing all the mirrors everywhere, my little leotards and my tights. Um, yeah, I really wish I'd stuck with that. My mom says that when we moved away from Nevada, over to Pennsylvania, that I didn't want to get back into it and she didn't want to force me. So I respect her for that now, but I also wish that she would have just forced me because then I would have been a dancer. So missed opportunity, but I guess that's on me. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to say about my childhood from Nevada was that my sister Tiara is 6 years older than me, so she was always babysitting the rest of us because there are five of us total. Um, and she was always given the job to watch us if my parents ever went out, like for a date night or something. And I remember every time they left, we would turn all the lights off and go outside and we would play hide and seek in the dark. I think they call it manhunt now. It wasn't like scary or anything, but I just remember being like so amazed. Like I was an 8-year-old kid. I was so in awe of like, oh, these big kids like to play in the dark. Like it's so cool. I'm a big kid too. Like I'm cool. I can play in the dark. I still enjoy playing games in the dark. Murder in the Dark, Mafia, those kinds of games are my favorite. We also played spoons a lot. Other than that, I don't remember much else. Oh, I do remember that when I was in second grade, I did an after school like cooking club with my sister and my older brother, Brianne and Cody. But I don't remember sticking with it. Like, I don't think I liked it, but I know that we had like a thick, giant cookbook from Emilio, whoever that guy is. I don't remember his last name, but he's a famous chef. I also remember the day that I learned to read the word tongue because my second grade teacher was like, "Good job pronouncing that. I know that one can be a little tricky with the extra vowels, but good job." And I was so proud of myself. I also remember like going to school baseball games and having like that giant box of like chocolate candy bars and trying to sell them as like a fundraiser. I don't know, was that like a universal experience or was that just my elementary school? Along with that thought, I also remember memorizing the names of every state in the United States as a song and then having to sing that at like some type of patriotic assembly that parents were invited to. It couldn't have been like a July 4th thing because that's in the summertime, but maybe it was like a Memorial Day thing. Um, I vividly remember having like all my entire class had to be in a little choir, and we all sang the song of every state in alphabetical order in the United States, and a bunch of other songs. I don't remember which other ones, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you probably half of them now, and I definitely couldn't tell you them in alphabetical order. In kindergarten, when I still lived in Texas, we would have rodeos with those stick horses, where it's like a stick with a horse head on the end of it, and you like jump around on it. Yeah, we would have rodeos in Texas. That seems fitting. I also lived on a farm. I do remember really hating broccoli cheddar soup. I think it made me throw up once. I think I threw up after eating it once, and that made me hate it. I remember one Christmas. I'm kind of moving backwards in my memory now. It's weird, but I remember one Christmas when I was still in Texas. So I was like 4 or 5 years old. Um, I remember the smell of the baby doll, the plastic baby doll that I got for Christmas, and the way that the living room looked with the Christmas tree all lit up with the colored incandescent lights. And I remember the music. I'm pretty sure we were listening to Shadaisy, the Christmas album. Yeah, I do remember the feeling of Christmas as a really small kid. And ever since then, I've been trying to recreate that, and I have never been successful. Hopefully, at some point, I will be, and I will learn how to create that vibe of nostalgia in my life again. Yeah, Christmas has always been my favorite time of the year. Just seeing the lights everywhere and the way that people are a little bit nicer to each other. Um, the music, I love Christmas music. I want to listen to Christmas music right now. And I will. I probably will once I'm done recording this. But yeah, music. Maybe that's the point when music started having a bigger role in my life, because I've always been affected by music, and I've always felt things like more deeply through music. My favorite movies are my favorite because of their soundtracks, like Finding Nemo, Wally, Titanic, Phantom of the Opera, and I could go on, but I just like Harry Potter. The music behind these movies is that's what makes it like stand out to me, and that's what makes it my favorite movie, because I like the way I feel hearing that music, and the visuals are just an added benefit or added bonus, but I'm really in it for the music. Music has always had a part in my life. I played the violin when I was in third grade. I played the recorder in second grade, violin in third grade. I don't think I played anything in fourth or fifth grade, but by sixth grade, I was taking piano lessons. Seventh grade was guitar. And then I continued piano lessons after that. But eighth grade, I joined the choir. And then in high school, I joined an a cappella group. Actually, no, I'm going to hold off on that until a later journal episode when we're in my high school days, because there's a lot. There's a lot of memories about my a cappella group, and I will be happy to share with you at some point down the road. I guess that is all for this episode. I love doing the journal episodes. I think they're my favorite out of the 4 different types of episodes that I do for my podcast. Yeah, journal episodes are my favorite for sure. I just love looking back at my life and like seeing, like, I have a really great life, and I have had a really great life since childhood. I'm grateful now that I can look back at these journal entries and see like where my head was at and what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, because those feelings are still inside of me. Like, this is the same body that went through those things. So I remember not only in memory, but like my body remembers these things. Yeah, I find it really intriguing. So if you haven't started journaling, please do. I swear, I promise, later down the road, you will look back and think, I'm so glad I did this. I'm so glad I can revisit these experiences and see how much I've grown since then. Um, Journaling has changed my life, and I've done it obviously for forever, and I will probably never stop. So I definitely recommend it. So I guess now we are moving into my high school days. For upcoming episodes, and you'll get to see a little bit more about me as a teenager. So I'm looking forward to it, but don't forget to subscribe and follow, and I will see you guys next week.